Welcome to another episode of the Concrete Mystique Show. And in fact, this is actually possibly an episode of Lobdell Universe at the same time. Haven't decided which one I want to put this in, or I might put them in both. But today I have my mother-in-law, Miss Marcia Mohre. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Rick. I'm nervous to be here, but go ahead.
Most people are.
Yep.
So you're going to laugh at this first question I have for you, but this is how I start every episode, okay? So I know I'm excited about the answer to this question. When and how did we first meet?
You know, I guess what's most memorable is when you called and asked for my daughter's hand in marriage.
Yeah, but that's not when we first
I know.
met.
Well, no, I don't. But that's what I remember most is you calling and talking with me about that.
That's not where I saw that coming.
When did we first meet? Probably on campus? Where did we meet?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, that's right. Yes. How could I forget that? You're right. Yes. We did Vegas together.
That's the point to the question on this one.
Okay.
See,
okay, back that up.
No,
I'll start over.
No, we keep going. They don't care. And that's the funny part about it too, because like I say it every single episode, but a lot of the people in my industry, like sometimes I don't remember the first time. Sometimes I'm doing a demo and I'm like, hi or whatever. But so it's kind of a cool question. But for this one, there's a specific reason for this question. So now back to the point. The first time you met me was
Las Vegas.
But what about Las Vegas? Why did we go to Vegas?
Well, I know why we went to Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Why did you invite me to Vegas? Or did you invite me? Was it Nicole that invited me? I don't remember that part.
I can't remember. Yeah. We were all together in Vegas. Of course, we go out for business.
Yeah. So let me explain it to everybody. Okay. So this is a funny, crazy story. So
I'll remember it after you tell it.
My second date with my soon-to-be wife at the time was her mother asking us to come out to Vegas to be Motorola employees with her for her company and be a part of their convention, the Motorola convention they were going to. They supplied us with a free room. All I had to do was pay for my flight to go out there, and I had never met this woman before, and it was my first time. So what a way to be introduced to your future mother-in-law at the time and have no idea what the future holds.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, you're right. I just totally forgot. That was, wow, how long ago?
20 years
plus
ago.
years ago.
21 years ago.
Yeah, long time.
Because we just had our 20th anniversary. Mm-hmm. So how about that?
Yeah.
I can't believe you can't remember 21 years. I'm just kidding.
How could I forget anything about you, Rick?
Well, that is part of the second part of the question. That's why I wanted to bring it up. I hate to say this, but I got to ask. That becomes then, what was your first impression of me? Not now, back then.
Back then, I know I'm going back in my files.
Not to mention, as she's thinking about this, she doesn't just invite us to Vegas, and I've never been there before. It's my first time. But on top of that, too, we're staying at the Bellagio. So for never being to Vegas before, it's not like I got to stay in the crappiest hotel. At that time, it was almost brand spanking new.
Yeah.
And it was so amazing. Our hotel room was overlooking the amazing fountain. And I mean, like literally the very top of the fountain shooting up was right at our eye level. Couldn't ask for a better location, a better hotel, a better moment in time. And I had never met you before.
Yeah. Those were exciting days for us too, because we were going out for business and it was the first time I had been to Vegas. I had only been out there a few times before you were.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah. Yeah. I had never been out there until, around 23, 24 years ago.
Just to make it crazy, next year will be my
wild.
13th year in a row, 14th year in a row.
Isn't that crazy? That you went out then and had never been there before. And those were the days, and that place changes every single year, from year to year, major changes out there.
Yes.
So.
Specifically in even the Bellagio, because that atrium that they have in there, that conservatory.
Yeah.
Oh, I love finding.
I do too.
Because when I go during World of Concrete, it's always the Chinese New Year. And I thought that stayed all year. I didn't know that they changed it again. So when I came back this June for my pool tournament I went to, I walked in there and it was a completely different thing. And I was like, oh, they changed this more than once a year. I
think they change it with the seasons. Every season they change it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, the amount of time and money it takes to do that.
It's gorgeous. Yeah. Yeah, I remember you being very creative. I liked your energy. Yeah, you were very respectful. That's a good thing for a mother-in-law to notice because she wants her daughter treated right.
Of course.
Yeah, and you did that well.
So I don't know how much you're trying to remember things from back then, but here's a funny story for you. So Nicole and I go gambling. Never been gambling before, never been to a casino before, and we sit down at the blackjack table. I at least knew how to play blackjack pretty well, and of course the dealer helps you. So I put down, I get out like $100, and I think I got $100 out. No, she had $100 also, if I'm not mistaken. So then I put $20 down and I just let it sit, and it becomes 40, 80, 160, and it starts piling up, and I'm winning and I'm winning and I'm winning and I'm winning. And she finally goes, shouldn't you pull that? And I was like, that's probably a good idea. And the lady throws a card before I get a chance to.
Oh, no.
And I lost probably, $1,500 or more.
Oh, my goodness. I'm glad I didn't know that then. I'd been so ticked
at the Bellagio on top of that.
At the Bellagio, no
No,
less.
I'm sorry, it wasn't. We went next door to the, now it's MGM Park. It was,
right.
What was I forget the hotel that was next door. But it was
the Aladdin, maybe?
No, the other way. No, Aladdin's across the street.
Yeah. Aladdin's across
Monte Carlo. It was the Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
And so then I won the money, no problem. Like I kept winning. I was doing great. She lost all of hers. I gave her 100 of mine, and I think she might have lost it, but I still won that 100 back, her 100 back.
Yeah.
Plus I won another $100. So we barely broke even. I mean, a little over even, but we played for a couple hours.
But you had fun.
But it was just hilarious. So then I won enough. I think I had, by the end of that next day or two, I think I had ended up winning close to like $800 or more, actually.
Cool.
So then I went and I bought a pair of burgundy dress shoes. Fancy. We're like, we got this money. Don't know what to do. So we go and I buy this beautiful pair of burgundy dress shoes. And of course, I'm dumb enough to want to wear them in Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to break these things in. So then not only that, but the typical story of Vegas is every hotel is just one block away.
Yep.
So we looked at the map and we see behind the MGM is the Hard Rock Cafe or the Hard Rock Casino. We're like, it's not that far. We can walk there. I walked in those shoes because we didn't have the money for a taxi.
Yep.
I walked in those shoes. Halfway there, I was like, I can't walk anymore.
Right. You
we don't have
not break
Uber.
shoes in Vegas.
No. And there's no such thing as Uber back then. There's no way to do anything about it.
Yep.
We're stuck walking. I can barely walk. I had blisters like you wouldn't believe for the rest of the trip.
I didn't know
if you
that.
ever knew that.
Nope, I never knew that.
I finally threw those shoes away a couple months ago because they were covered in mold or something.
Sure.
It was bad.
I've made that mistake though too. Looked out and said, "Oh, that building looks interesting. What casino is that? I can walk there." And yeah, an hour later, you're like, "What was I thinking?"
And now I'm a pro at it.
I did that.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But what fun.
So your basic impression was just that I was a nice guy.
Yeah, you were creative. You were a creative spirit.
Because at that time, I was teaching at SCAD. Yeah, I'm pretty sure at that point I was teaching at SCAD. So I was actually doing well, had a real job for once, doing what I was supposed to be doing, actually had health care,
right.
And stuff like that. So for that moment in time, it was pretty cool. But then we move forward a little bit and we get to a point where I decide to move here to marry your daughter, and I propose to her and everything like that. I move in May, and I don't have a job for a year. I struggled. I started out with tile work, and
I remember that.
Didn't understand the city. Actually, the tile work was the last one. That was the last one. I started out, and I went back into ballroom dancing, which I didn't want to do. I was dreading going back to that. I wanted to be retired. I wanted to be done teaching ballroom dance because it's a weird industry. And that, and Savannah, it wasn't too bad. I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed more about the way the town reacted to me because I was the only male under 50 years old that knew how to dance, which was amazing. You know, and that's why I got into the ballets and everything else I got to do. But in Nashville, being such a bigger city, nobody cared.
Yeah.
That meant nothing.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is I had let my hair grow because I didn't care about it, that stuff. And so I went into a meeting to do the ballroom dance, and they were like looking at me like, you've never done this before. There's no way.
Right.
And I had, you know, and so I went, the first day I went, I had clean cut everything. I came in, they didn't even recognize me. And I did it for a couple months, but I hated it because it was like, I felt like a used car salesman compared to when I was in Savannah, where it was a beautiful experience and I enjoyed teaching. Go to Nashville and it becomes more of a job.
Yeah.
And it takes the fun away.
It does.
So I officially retired from that, couldn't find a job. When we were getting married, if you remember, I didn't have a job.
I guess I didn't remember that.
We had no job.
But you're right.
And
Yeah,
I always
you
thought that
didn't.
you were like hesitant about like, are you sure you want to marry this guy? He can't even keep a job at that time.
I don't recall being hesitant about that. I don't. I remember you working in the tile business, but that was after, right? That was after you got married. You got
It was
into
right
the
about that time because I
tiling.
remember I had read. So we had to have moved into our house.
Yeah. Right.
So
You
I still
did.
struggled
you
for that
moved into
year.
the house right like a week or two before you got married.
Right. And that house was based on her income,
Yeah.
not ours.
Yeah.
I didn't have an income.
Right.
Yeah.
You were good.
I spent a whole year looking at, you know, sitting at our house painting. At least I was doing painting in the apartment
Yep.
that we had. But I was sitting there that whole year just trying to find ways to figure out how to get work.
Kinda. Yeah.
And I struggled and struggled and struggled until I found, and then if you remember at all, I was substitute teaching. Do you remember that too?
No.
I
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you did.
I did.
I forgot about that.
Not only did I
Yeah,
substitute teach,
you were.
but I was doing it through USN, which was her, at the time, her boss's wife ran the art department at USN
Yeah.
and got me in the door.
Yeah, and you were going at different schools in
Started
different
to.
directions,
Correct.
taking what you could get.
Correct.
Yep.
But they were only
Okay.
paying $52 a day.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's better than nothing at that time.
Well, it was about getting that foot in the door, but at the same time, I went to school to teach college. I didn't go to school to teach second grade
Right.
or, you know,
Yeah.
even
it wasn't
high school.
your favorite.
Oh, I
Not
hated
at
it.
all.
So then what happened was I was supposed to teach at Battleground Academy down in Franklin. And the catch was that the lady that I was going to take over for was pregnant, and she was going to have her baby right before the school year started. So she wasn't going to be there for the first 2 months of the school year. And they needed someone to replace her for just 2 months
Yeah.
at
Just to get
$52
things off the
$52 a
ground.
day.
Wow.
Okay. And but the catch was it was a private school. So if I did this, I probably would have ended up getting a full-time job there. Probably would have ended up being the wrestling coach. You know, I was already
Right.
doing research on that, and I was
Yep.
bringing that up to them, and they were very interested in what I could do for them. And we were making plans for this was my into private teaching in the city of Nashville, all because of her boss's wife. This all happened from the referrals from her helping me and stuff like that. So I accepted the job. I had taught there a few times over the year. I was ready to go. And then that June, before the school, like right after the school year ended, I found Concrete Mystique. I went to the interview, took the job,
Yep.
loved it right away, and had to go to that lady and go, I know school starts in 2 months, but I'm out. And she's like, 8 months pregnant, so, and she's
Yeah.
like, what? And she's all furious with me. And I burned every bridge possible in this city to do private teaching because of it.
Oh no.
I gambled.
Everything happens for a reason.
I
You
would
did.
say it went pretty well.
I think you did well. Again, like you did in Vegas.
That's why I
Right?
said it that way.
Yep. Just like you did in Vegas.
Just another game of
It was
blackjack
just
for me.
another risk. And it was worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what life would have been like if I would have stayed. I don't know.
And then there's a whole story with that, with Concrete Mystique.
Yeah.
And not getting the work that you wanted to get, and then you invested yourself into that and building that business for someone else. And
Yeah, because when he was going to sell the company,
Yep.
that was part of the conversation.
Yep.
So
I remember that.
let's I got questions for you based on that kind of stuff. Okay, so what I need to explain to everybody is your background. So explain to them your degree, what you went to school for.
Oh my goodness.
Go ahead.
Wow. I don't know how far back to go.
Well,
But
just what
at one time, yeah, I got a job at a local college, and one of the benefits was education for not only myself, but my family. And so I started college in my late 30s, early 40s.
So had you gone to college before that at all?
I had gone and gotten a basic 1 year degree in merchandising back in the day, right after
Merchandising?
fashion merchandising.
I've
For
never even
1 year.
heard of anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It was a business college, and I got a degree, a 1 year. It was a certificate in fashion merchandising for buying and selling clothing and things like that, which I didn't really use. I mean, I did work for a couple of department stores.
Did you actually
and
enjoy that degree, or did you just do it because you had to?
I just did it because I had to. Yeah.
Interesting.
I didn't really get
I wonder if that
far
still
enough
exists
into
as a
it.
degree.
I don't know. I really don't. But that's where I was at the time. And then I got married and had a baby, and we traveled around with the military for a little bit. And so I just never really. I did use it a little bit. I should say I did use it with one particular company for a little bit. But we got settled in a nice town, and I got this job at a college, and so started on a 4 year degree while working for the college. So golly, that's the best way to finance
Absolutely.
an education.
Absolutely. And what was that degree in?
There was the initial degree was a Bachelor of Science in Accounting.
In accounting.
In accounting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
obviously you like numbers.
before I finished, I was taking classes with my daughter because she was in high school and able to get college credits.
And we're going to
out there.
clarify here, her daughter is a genius. That's why she was in high school taking college credits. Not me.
Yeah,
I was
she
not one of
was.
those people. I did not take a single AP course. I'm not
Yeah.
anywhere near that intelligent, but
Yeah, she had enough credits, I think, to complete her freshman year before she ever officially started
course she did.
college. She did, which that was great because
Right.
that saves time and money. So, so I graduated, and then she graduated. I think she beat me because I was on a slower track than she was.
right. And the beauty of that
Yeah.
point is that the two schools, she didn't go to the same school you went to. Well, she did when she was in high school.
When she
but-
was at home, yeah.
But once she graduated, she ended up using that opportunity to go to a sister school of this college.
Correct.
Which is where we met.
Yeah.
So if you had not done
right.
all this, we never would have had a chance of meeting.
How about that? You're welcome.
Yes, another gamble.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting thing that we always talk about and laugh about. That if it wasn't for that job and that opportunity, she would have went to Mount. That would have been a random
Yeah.
opportunity. There's no
Yeah.
way that
and
would have
she
ever
loved
happened.
it. I can remember visiting there, and that was the school. She knew before the day was over that that's where she wanted to go.
Interesting.
Yeah, she loved it. It was a good fit, and that's really important.
Of course, it is, and it was a great school. And one of the reasons why I liked it so much too is it was all right there. You had nowhere else you had to go. You didn't need a car. It was all in walking distance. It was very easy for you to have a great time there and not go off into the deep end somewhere else and get, like compared to Savannah, where there's 52 buildings in the middle of all of downtown Savannah. You take shuttles to every building. You get
wow.
lost trying to find the buildings. If you don't have a car, you're in trouble. And then in between all of that is where you can buy drugs and do about anything else you want to do.
That's right.
The sky's the limit for you because it's downtown Savannah. It's not a separate location for college. It's not a university campus. The downtown is the campus, and it's not good when you're an undergrad and you have no clue about what life is going to be like. That is not the best place for
That's
a
a
kid.
tough-
It was great for grad school because I was already there to be focused. I knew what I was there for. I have no idea what it would have been like if I would have went there for undergrad. So then you go on to get your next degree. And what's that degree?
I got my MBA. I could have had two, almost had two,
Of course.
but I switched directions and changed jobs and all of that. So I had started in MBOL in organizational leadership and only needed a
That's what
project
OL
to
stands
finish.
for?
MBOL, organizational leadership.
And what is
Yeah.
organizational leadership?
And so that was a little more specific degree in leadership. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's kind of hard to explain. But I had a project that was going to be based on my job, and I happened to switch directions and didn't want to finish it. So at that time, they created an MBA, and I took a few more classes for that, and here I am.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So I
So then after
have
you
those two.
finished that, you end up still working at the college for a while, right?
I did, yeah. And I kind of changed directions a few times there too. I started out in alumni and development, and then ended up as a major gift officer at the college. So I kind of started at the bottom and worked my way up.
It seems like that went pretty quick though.
It did.
Because like to say it that way, it doesn't feel like
I
you were
know.
ever at the bottom. It felt like you were in charge very quickly.
No, the first 5 or 6 years, I was kind of in record keeping actually for alumni and development, and did some alumni events, but I really was doing all the background work for some campaigns and for gift giving, and I did all the record keeping. That's where the numbers came in. And I left then to pursue a career in accounting. And I worked for a local CPA firm and hated every minute of it. After 3 months, I was in tears. I just hated it, and I thought, no, I have to hang in there. I have to make sure that it's just not me. And so I stayed for a year, and there was no doubt in my mind. After a year, I didn't sign my contract with the company, and the college wanted me back. So I went right from that right back to the college as a major gift officer. So I was out doing some.
So you had to leave the college to show them that you were important, so that you could go back for a better opportunity.
And they wanted me back. So yeah. So I must have done good.
So then you go from that, and you end up deciding that it was time to go back to help David. And we talked about this in the beginning, how he runs an electronics company and he's selling Motorola, which is why we went to Vegas in the first place.
Yeah.
So tell us kind of what you do for More Electronics.
Well, it's a family-run business, and so we're a mom and pop business. He sells and services two-way communication, two-way radios, and pagers. And
There's still pagers.
yeah, there are. Fire departments still use pagers. Some do. They're starting to make some changes in that field also. But yeah, he kind of inherited it from his dad, who started it as a TV and radio business back in 1954. So next year it'll be 70 years.
Wow.
And his dad's been gone for more than 30 years now. So.
I never met him, yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. I didn't know my father-in-law. And so he started it with his wife, and she's still living. So, she comes over and stops in just about every day.
So my question to you about that is, with your background,
Yeah.
have you made adjustments to how that company runs based on the knowledge you have, the education you have? Like, was it just that you moved because you just wanted to get away from the college, or was it that you saw this opportunity to help his company even more with all of your background?
Yeah, I was able to help him take it to the next level, I think. I can safely say that. We computerized everything. Bookkeeping was all done by hand when I joined the company. And I joined in shortly after we got married. And I think it's grown by leaps and bounds since then. So, and he's got awards to show for it. So had we not made some changes, he might not have gone as far as he did. So
it is crazy to think about that you guys are. I mean, their town is so small. It's got a stop sign. One, not a red light.
Nope.
Not multiple stop signs. It is really, the downtown is one block.
Yeah.
And they live on the edge of that area, but you wouldn't even consider it a town. It's just a stop sign driving through the middle of nowhere. And yet he has some of the highest sales in Motorola year after year after year.
In his size of market.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So he's done very well. And in fact, the sign outside of town says a half mile a half-mile smile. That's how long it is. It's a half mile long.
That's crazy.
That's it.
It drives me, obviously, you know, with my hyperactivity, it drives me crazy going there because I have
I know.
nothing to do.
Yeah,
You know, there's one little tiny bar/restaurant that's really a restaurant, not a bar, that closes at like 10 o'clock. So that doesn't help me. If at that point, it probably closes earlier half the time.
It does.
That's a late night on the weekends for this place.
Because people don't go out like they used to. Not in the small towns anymore. You used to go out and
There's not enough
close
people
the
in the
bars
town to
down,
go
but
out.
you just don't anymore.
Yeah.
You can't drink and like you
Because
used
I could
to.
walk home.
Right.
Out there.
Right. Yeah.
It's
And
so
people
close.
do. Oh yeah.
It's less than a mile walk.
Yeah. It
Probably
is.
half a mile.
We live less than a mile away.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
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 That's crazy. So you've been there now for years. I mean, how many years now has it been since you worked at the college?
I left the college going on 12 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And I still help them out. I still go
Really?
back. Yeah. I just went back last week and went over some of my old call assignments and talked about people that I knew and the relationships I had with them. And they'd like to have me back again, but I'm ready to retire. I'm ready to step back and do some other fun things in my life. So.
Well, that's an interesting question because that goes back to the idea of how important it is to keep those connections.
Mm-hmm.
And in essence, it's really kind of like how would you say it, a networking that you're always
sure.
doing? Or is it
Sure.
more than just
it's
that?
relationship building.
It's relationship
Yeah.
building.
And people always say, oh, how can you ask someone for money? And I guess I never looked at it like that as a job where I was asking people for money. I was out building relationships and finding out where their interests were and how to connect them with the college. And, you know, a lot of people had really fond memories of where they went to school and where they graduated from and the friendships that they built and the things that they did, you know, just like you did on your campus. And so if someone came to you and said, hey, Rick, you know, we want to do something with art, I'm sure you would be willing to say, yeah, I can throw some dollars at that.
No.
You know, no, you don't think so?
No.
I mean, but if it was the right thing, I don't know. And they said, come on, let's get some of your friends together. Let's say there's a group of people. If everyone threw $100 in, you know, there you go.
Well, yeah, if
it'd be
it's
a nice way
$100,
to
but
start.
that's the
well, that's what
problem.
I'm saying.
We're talking about a college.
You know, we're not. I know, but it's not always about the big bucks. It's not always about the big bucks. Yeah, you might not be able to donate tens of thousands of dollars or have any inclination to do so, but if you get 50 or 100 people all to throw in $100 here or 200, whatever your max might be, you get more people together, you can make a difference.
Interesting.
And somebody donated money. I don't know if you got any scholarships when you went to school.
Only federal.
I always think about paying it forward. You know, I didn't get scholarships. I went as a non-traditional student. Trust me, I paid my way. And so, you know, I can't even say that, but boy, I had some awesome experiences due to the generosity of some professors. And so I want tomorrow's students, I want my grandkids to have those same experiences. I want other people to value that also, to have those values. So I'm a dedicated giver to my alumni,
See, I look at it
to my
as
college.
it's the past and I'm moving forward and I just don't look back. Like it's
Yeah.
not about whether I have the money or not or want to,
Yeah,
you
no.
know, it's more that like we do the same thing when it comes to like cancer. You know, we worked with cancer
Right.
for 11 years. We never donated money. We donated time.
There you go.
You know, like I would donate a painting and
Sure.
stuff like that more than I would want to donate, just give you money.
That's
because
another
I look
way
at
of
it that
giving.
way and
Yep.
see what would happen. And yes, I would have an art show about,
See?
That's different. That's
Sure.
an easy thing.
Yeah.
That's a fun thing.
It's as easy as that. Supporting your alma mater is as easy as that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then we have SCAD that I wouldn't do that for because they're a gigantic corporation. It's not the same thing as a
True.
small college that needs help.
Right.
They're a completely different universe when it comes to stuff like that.
Sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
There you go.
Well, I told you this was going to be easy.
So give to your college next time you get that little
So just so
envelope in the mail.
She told me, just so everybody knows, she said, I'll give you 5 minutes.
And it's been
31 minutes.
There we go.
How
I'm
about
done.
that? I got her talking
I'm
for
done.
30 minutes and she was like, no, I'm not. I have nothing to say. I'm going to.
There you go.
Not hard at all, was it?
Nope. Okay, thanks.
All right, everybody. I'm going to let you go
Time
because
to go.
now that she realized I shouldn't have said anything.
No,
I could've
I've
got
been
another half
watching
hour.
you'll play this back and you'll see how many times I kept checking my watch.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate helping everybody understand how to, because the stuff we're talking about with the college stuff is important, and just
is.
your background when it comes to that idea. It's not like you said, it's not just networking, but it's a way of keeping relationships. That's the key point to everything is the relationships we keep in the business that we do. And you have the same thing with what you do for David's business too.
Yeah.
With all the big corporations that you guys, because what people don't realize is you're not selling two-way radios and pagers to the average homeowner coming by to buy something necessarily.
No.
You're talking about like Campbell's, or you're talking about major
That's right.
corporations, major factories, places that are so big that they have to be able to communicate all over the, not campus, but property. You're talking acres.
Well, even your fire and police, your schools,
See, I forget about
your
the fire
EMS.
and police. Yes.
Yeah. Fire,
Yes.
police, EMS,
So
local
this is
schools,
all-
hospitals.
It's all government
That's right.
and large corporation. It's not tiny little things.
That's right.
It's a very interesting way to look at it. And it's an
Farmers.
interesting business plan.
We have a lot of farmers.
Really?
Yes,
I never
we
even
do.
thought about that.
Yep. So that's how they do their harvest. They've got to be able to communicate with each other from field to field, miles apart.
Never even crossed my mind about
Absolutely.
farmers.
Yeah.
How do you market to farmers?
Word of mouth.
It's all
A
word
lot
of
of
mouth.
it, where we are, a lot of it's word of mouth. Yeah. We've had people come from counties away because somebody knew somebody. And I heard you sell radios, and what can you do for us? So, we sit down and have a chat with them and see what their needs are and build them a system that works. So,
And then the relationship starts from
and
there.
it starts from there. Yeah.
Now, do you help with a lot of the relationship within that company, or is that basically what David does all the time?
Well, sometimes I'm the first contact because I answer the phone. So it kind of starts there, and I have to make sure that he returns the phone calls and we can get that relationship going.
Yeah, I had that
Yeah.
problem with my assistant too.
Yeah. Right. So, yeah, we're a team.
Awesome.
We're a team. Everybody does everything.
Well, thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you, Rick.
Everybody have a good day.